esteemed guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my pleasure to come from London to Russia, to Kazakhstan, and to Kazan. I've been here approximately 36 hours, but so far it is fantastic. We have a wonderful city. I saw it last night. It was a bit dark, but it still looked very, very beautiful. I wanted to mention something that Philip mentioned. In London too, we have the same problem. We cannot see the planes in the sky. It is because it's always raining and there's clouds there. So I understand that. It's the same. I'm very pleased that Philip mentioned what we do at IMEX. I wanted to take just a few moments to explain. I want you to forget about leisure tourism. It's much bigger than business tourism, but business tourism is what we do. Business tourism is a multi-billion-dollar international industry. Meetings, congresses, incentives, exhibitions. Every study that our industry publishes will tell you that a businessman, a businesswoman, going on a business trip, attending a conference, exhibition or event, will spend more rubles than the leisure tourist. And the way you organize these events, how you attract them, like an event like ours, how you attract congresses, international events, is a science. It's very, very different to leisure tourism. And I think that's worth making that point at the beginning. What is IMEX? Can I just ask, how many of you have been to either of our exhibitions? A few, okay. We run two huge exhibitions. We are a company based in England, in Brighton, on the south coast, and we launched in 2003 IMEX in Frankfurt. 15,000 people come to that event. We have an event in Las Vegas, in Nevada, America, and that's for the first time happened only in October, only last month, and that attracted 8,500 people. We just do two events, and they're just targeted on business travel, business incentives, congresses, etc. Some small, a few minutes on statistics. On the left, we have the German event in Frankfurt, 17,500 square meters, 3,500 exhibitors, 157 countries. I think there are only officially 280 countries in the world, so we have a truly international audience. Below that, you can see we have nearly 9,000 visitors. They're buyers, they're not exhibitors. We have nearly 4,000 hosted buyers. I've been asked today to speak specifically about hosted buyers later on. I will take 5 minutes to do so. And we have 68 countries in all. IMEX in America, on the right-hand side, much smaller, as I said, but still extremely large for the first event. That was our first event only last month. So that's who we are. An exhibition is an experience. Events, meetings are an experience. And I can't bring IMEX to this room, but here's a few photos of what we look like. This is the German event. As you can imagine, putting such an event on is extremely, extremely complicated. What I'm going to do in the next 20 minutes is just take you through 5 main areas. I'm going to give you the view of IMEX, of how we put this event on. And hopefully, as Russians, as people from Kazan, as people who could group together, work together to attract an exhibition like this, worth to your economy millions and millions and millions of rubles, billions of rubles. Can you imagine if you had 15,000 people in this city, the amount of income it brings to your economy? So I will try and give you an insight as to what we look for when we chose Frankfurt and when we chose Las Vegas. I could speak for 5 hours about this, but I will speak for 20 minutes, so just 5 areas. These are the areas I want to focus on. Firstly, the venue. Now, I don't just mean the conference centre, the exhibition centre. I mean this on 3 different levels. I have very few words in this presentation because I realise it's in English, but the top word is national. When we looked for a place to house IMEX, we didn't look at a particular city to start with, or a venue. We looked at a country. What country would it be good to hold an event in? Who would like to go to that country? What is its brand? Is it considered a place people would like to go? Is the region, in this case, Pakistan, is that an area people would like to go? And then we worry about the venue. That's the last thing. Then the conference centre, the congress centre. What is it like there? So as an organiser, we look on 3 levels when we're looking at placing a huge exhibition. I was very interested in listening to Nikolai earlier on, because there's a huge importance in security within here. Security is one of the things we look for when we're looking at the region and the country and the convention centre. We look for people working together locally. The convention bureau. That word may be a new word for many of you, it may not. But in major cities around the world that attract international congresses, there is a convention bureau, an association of suppliers, of politicians, of people who work together, ground handlers. I mean, in the leisure travel, they're called tour operators. In our industry, as you probably know, they're called DMCs in English, Destination Management Companies. I heard earlier on, when we heard from the speaker with regards to the youth games you have here, about working together. We look for you to work together. The brand Kazan. We need to see that if we are to bring our events to your country. We don't want infighting or two areas of the city or the country fighting against each other. We need to see unity, you all working together, that you've got the right infrastructure, you've got the airline involved. I mean, can we get 15,000 people to Frankfurt? Yeah. Because Lufthansa work with us. Can we get 15,000 people to Las Vegas? Yeah. Because from London there's 2 flights, Virgin and British Airways. There's a great domestic network to Las Vegas. And you might not know this, but Las Vegas make more money from conferences than they do from gambling. It's a huge industry. So we would need your airline to be involved. We would need the hotels to come together to offer us special rates, as we were hearing earlier on. We would need to know that the ground handlers can transport the people around. There's so much behind putting on an event like IMEX. We looked for that in Germany, and we looked for that in Las Vegas. And one of the things is security as well. Are our delegates going to be safe in the country that we invite them to? Weather. I often think weather is an important thing as well, but maybe less important. But certainly Las Vegas, don't underestimate the importance of it being a place that's considered, for some people, not everybody, but for some people, an exciting place to go. I actually consult for IMEX now. I used to look after the Middle Eastern area, Dubai, Oman, Qatar. When my clients heard it was in Las Vegas, they signed the contract straight away. They just wanted to go to an exciting place. The next area is operations. For me, this is the most important part. It's also the most boring part, but it's really important. At IMEX, we have a lady called Nala. Now, she's 3 or 4 hours behind. She's probably working in Brighton as we speak. Her departments have to look after the floor plan. Now, let me tell you, with 3,500 exhibitors, all their stands are different sizes. They have water, electricity, internet. They have to be fitted into a square room of 30,000 square meters. That sounds easy. It's not. her department organised all these small things. It's very, very complex. Health and safety, insurance, rigging. I don't know if, I didn't speak to the translators about the word, but rigging is the things from the ceiling that come down, the signs, the adverts, the lighting. If you go into an exhibition hall, into our exhibition hall in Frankfurt, 7-8 days before we open, it's just an empty, huge room like where you would put an aircraft. Slowly over those days, the organising team put everything together. Security is in there, as you can see on the right-hand side at the top. Going down there are things like insurance, access before the event. We also had some problems in Frankfurt. It's very interesting to hear St. Petersburg's problems. Well, within the hall at IMEX, we had things being stolen. And we had stand constructors, the men, generally men, who build the stands, were bringing too many of people, and 3 of them were walking around the hall, taking televisions. So we had a big problem. So we had to upgrade our security and only allow people that were vetted, their name on their badge. And that has cut down our own security issues hugely. If you aren't organised as a person, you can't work in organising. Deadlines, deadlines, deadlines. As an organiser, we would need to work with our host committee, our host country, on this aspect. It's boring, but it's very, very important. Marketing and branding. I showed you our logos at the beginning of the presentation. This conference has a logo. McDonald's has a logo. Nike has a logo. Absolute Vodka has a logo. We all recognize logos in this consumer world we live in. We had to give our experience a logo. We've done that. We've also got some other areas that it's really important for us to focus on. I realise that this advice may be different depending on what kind of exhibition you are involved in, either as a supplier or as an organiser. Ours are both international, so this may not always be the case. But you cannot market the same message to all different nationalities. Americans are different to British people. They're different to Russians, I expect. They're different to Australians, to New Zealanders, to Africans, to South Americans, to Mexicans. Within Europe, we have so many different nationalities, don't we? So we had to make sure the message was presented locally, within Las Vegas and within Nevada, within California, around there. Nationally, to the American buying the visitors and the people that would come, and internationally as well. Cross-cultural communication in the international exhibitions world is very, very important. So we had a local marketing agency, and we didn't just go around advertising, buying page adverts in magazines. We used PR. Now, PR is press relations. It would be getting stories into newspapers, giving journalists stories about what is happening. When you do an event, you can't simply advertise and hope people will come. You need to give them a reason, you need to give them a story. So we worked with journalists a lot to make sure in the international meetings and events press, Russia has many magazines in that people, journalists, were talking about IMEX. It was very, very important. Benefits, benefits, benefits. Why should someone come? I know you won't be able to see it from where most of you are, but it doesn't matter, you get the impression. IMEX America, I'm focusing on now, it had never happened before. We told our exhibitors who were paying a lot of money to come, we will bring the audience to you. We had to be sure they were going to come. This piece of literature went to potential visitors, potential buyers. It simply said, business, education, networking, it's free, and it's in Las Vegas. Simple, simple, simple. You can't just say, IMEX is happening. Please come. You need reasons. We needed reasons. You will learn, you will network, you will do business. It's in Las Vegas, and it doesn't cost you. That's what. And then give them more messages. Marketing has to be very simple. In our industry, there is so much noise going on. It's difficult to get your message out. We made it very simple. We used our experience in Frankfurt and our good reputation, and we got people to tell the Americans that we were quite good. We didn't tell them. We got people who had experience in Frankfurt to tell them. And we use social media as well, tremendously. We have a tweet account, Facebook page. Every conference I go to, and this is my 47th country I think I've been to, every conference I've been to talks about social media. I'm 40 in January, and I still don't understand it. I'm sure those people in here who are 25 and 30 and 25, I still don't understand it, but we have people who do, and they really use those social media platforms to present IMEX. Sales. All very well to have an exhibition, but if you have no exhibitors, you have no money. So this comes down to finance. Let me tell you something quite surprising. 1 square meter of space in Frankfurt will cost you €1,000. €1,000. It's very expensive. But we're sold out every year because we deliver. The way we sell is, I think, perhaps unusual. I'm not saying everybody can do this. We are in the lucky position of having a good reputation, but we sell. We do not use agents anyway. The reason I've been on 480 flights, plane journeys in the last 7 years, is because we go to see our exhibitors. I've been to Canada for a 3-hour meeting and back home. We believe, and I think this is fair to say is true generally, people buy from people. We don't phone or email, do, but we go and meet people. Wouldn't it be crazy not to sell by meeting someone in the meetings industry? So we go and meet people. We look in their eyes, we shake their hand, we talk to them. We go to every single industry event, the ICA event, WEC, we come to Russia, we go to the Middle East, we go to all the trade events, we build our brand through that. Selling is a science as well, I believe, and we certainly only allow people to sell our product from our team in England. No agents, no commission to everybody else. We are very protective of making sure the message from IMEX is understood. I've left 5 minutes to hosted buyers because I was asked specifically to speak about this. I believe that exhibitions will die, finish, unless more of them use the hosted buyer program. Very simply, when we open our exhibition, we have 2 choices. We could say to our exhibitors, we think that 15,000 people will come. We think. We don't know, but we think. Or we can guarantee who's coming because we are paying their expenses to come to Frankfurt. And that is what we do. We ask our exhibitors, we have 3,500. We ask the big ones, the large hotel chains mainly, and we say to them, who are you doing business with? In the last 12 months, who are your best customers? Those exhibitors give us the names of those people, and we simply check that they are doing business, and we pay for their flights to Frankfurt or Las Vegas and their accommodation. We guarantee who's coming to our exhibitions because we pay for them to come, which is why it's €1,000 per square metre. Exhibitions that don't give this guarantee, I believe, in the future will fail. People have so much choice where to spend their rubles. Direct marketing, internet advertising, advertising in a magazine, roadshows, PR, you can do so much stuff. If exhibitions are to work, we, as exhibition organisers, need to guarantee our exhibitors, our customers, who is coming. And this is how we do it. It's a strange concept maybe, but I'm sure many of you who've been to our industry events around the world would have seen it. Hosted buyers. The word is coming up in more and more. And I know this is the first international forum here in Kazan. And in the future, it would be interesting to be able to perhaps invite people here, so you knew who was coming. I spoke to one of the organisers when I arrived at 2 o'clock in the morning on whichever day it was, 2 days ago. And I said, how many people are coming? And she said, we don't know. Well, that's not wrong. That's how most events like this operate. But what happened if she said, well, there's 400 people who are, because we know them and we know their quality. That would be interesting, and I believe that is the way events like this, exhibitions like ours, are going in the future. That's how it works. You pay for their flights and accommodation, and they come to finance. It's more complex than that. Our whole exhibition is more complex than that, as you can imagine. But I hope it gives you an overview of what we do and how we operate. I'll be around here for most of today. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have then. If we have time, I'm happy to answer any questions now as well. It's great to be here, Brodshow, great to be here in Pakistan. So, Kazan, thank you for welcoming me.